Okay, so can I ask you, Corrina, how do you know what you're going to be doing over the next kind of hours and maybe a couple of days?
I have to have everything written down in my diary.
So if you couldn't read, that would be a substantial difficulty.
That would be very difficult for me. I probably would be in lots of trouble with people because it's not easy to remember everything.
And how would you feel?
I feel very stressed and very anxious all the time.
And so for you, Marie, how do you know what's happening the next few hours and days?
I'm the complete opposite to you, Corrina. Actually, I just keep everything up here. I'm quite good at retaining information.
So if I caused some damage in your brain, that would mean that you couldn't retain information, you couldn't remember it. What would be the consequences for you?
I would miss out on things. Things would be quite unfamiliar and I wouldn't know what to expect. Can't imagine it.
And so those are the sorts of things that people that we support struggle with, kind of dealing with things, being able to read or write or being able to process and remember information. So they also give us a clue, therefore, about the things that we need to be using to help people with the structure that they need in their lives, but which is not going to happen without our help. And what we're looking to do is to create something that fits with the person themselves, rather than being some kind of imposed external our needs kind of routine or regime of things. And that's one of the things that makes it different from institutional regimes. And that's going to be because of the complexity of the support that people have, the number of people involved. That's going to have to be written down so that people can share it, deliver the same things in the same way, in terms of when things happen, the sequencing of things, but also in terms of the ways that we support a specific person with a particular thing.
So what you're saying is it's not just about the particular task and making sure that everybody is consistent and predictable. Actually, it's thinking about the sequence and actually making sure that it happens
very
in
much so.
order.
Yes. And that again takes conscious effort because of the number of people involved and the extent to which that everybody's going to have to agree. And we're going to have to kind of have that sort of in writing so that new people or agency or whoever can follow that kind of basic sequence of.
And I guess people might have some established routines that you can actually determine. So for me, I always clean my teeth after I have my breakfast, but I know that some people clean them before. So actually you can look at somebody's existing routines and rituals, and you can think about building that into the structure of the day. We
have to, because those are in the absence of structure that's being provided by people who support a person, almost everybody will have developed some ritual or routine to enable them to feel secure and safe and comfortable, and that's got to be part of how we then develop that further forwards. You can't get rid of that in order to impose this. We've got this bright new shiny individualized routine that we've built for you, and it completely disregards all of the rituals and routines that you already have built for yourself. It has to incorporate that. It has to reflect and kind of integrate with that really closely.
And structures and routines can change. You know, there may be a doctor's appointment or something come up, but usually we find that as long as the rest of the days kind of kept the same, we can cope with that slight change
you need
to the day.
Contingency planning, because nothing ever remains exactly the same or is always going to turn out to be exactly as you anticipated. But if you've got a plan, and we're talking largely about kind of things like shift plans and support plans, that you can then use as the basis, then it can shift when it needs to shift, where it can change where it needs to change, and I think that's fine. But otherwise, it's just chaos all the time if you don't have that basic kind of structure of both events and the ways that we actually support the person. So the sorts of things that we're talking about is we need to have kind of agreed ways of organising events. We need to incorporate into that a respect, an active respect for people's individual routines and rituals. We need to have some sort of contingency planning, because it's not ever going to work exactly the same all of the time, but as long as we've got some plan, that's going to be fine. And communicating structure, the structure that we've developed with the person, through means that the person can understand.